Shalom. Shalom. I am Tommy. I am one of the PR representatives for the Lord. Yes, for Adonai. And I am here today to address the most recent incident regarding the couple that was evicted from the Garden of Eden. You all may have seen the new construction that went up a few days ago. Yet yes, it is lovely. And so, unfortunately, the couple that used to dwell there had an incident that resulted in them losing that territory. And so, there's been a lot of inquiry as to what happened, and I am here to explain that today. So, I'm going to take a couple of questions. Yes, one at a time, please, one at a time. Sir, you? Yes?
Yes, I'm with the Daily Testament. I want to know. A lot of people want to know who is Adam. Where is he from? Like, where did he come from?
Okay. Well, Adam, aka first man, Adam came from, as Drake would say, he started from the bottom, now he's here. And by the bottom, I mean dirt. He was dirt poor. Actually, he was made of dirt. The Lord literally crafted him from the dirt. Yes, that is where Adam came from. He was created after God created everything else. And God created Adam, and he actually blessed him with two things. He blessed him with a home, which was the Garden of Eden, and a job, because we know a job is a blessing. Yes, it is. Man shall work. And so he blessed him with the job or the task of being the manager of Eden, taking care of the land and all its animals. And he even had the privilege to name all of the animals, whatever he wanted to name them. If he wanted to name them Cowabunga Crocodile, he could have. Luckily, he did not, but yes, so that is where he came from. Nothing. From nothing, and he was given everything. Yes, next question, please. Next question, yes.
Yes, I have another question. So you said it was a couple that was put out. Who's the woman? Is she from here? You said uh, he was blessed to have hers. Where is she from?
Yes, the second perpetrator in this situation is a woman by the name of Eve. That's Evie E. No, 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 not Rough Rider Eve. No, 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 no. She hasn't been created yet. This is Eve, Adam's wife. She actually had no name until recently when she found herself in this trouble. But she actually came from Adam. She is his rib. And if you are from the African American community, then you may have heard of some men that refer to their mate as their rib. Well, this is where they get that from. Adam was put to sleep, and God took his rib and crafted this womb man, this woman, this whoa man, Eve, from Adam's rib, bone of his bone, flesh of his flesh. Yes, that is how she was crafted to be his helper, his helpmeet. Yes, next question. Next
Yes,
one.
I have another question. So everybody wants to know. I mean, there's rumors going around, of course. What led up to the eviction?
Well, as I just stated, Eve was created to be Adam's helper, his helpmeet, his companion. Now, some people say, well, is she a servant or a slave? No, she was actually created with the original term ezer. Yes, ezer. I think I'm saying that right. My Hebrew is a little off, but meaning to be equal to or a companion, a helper. That word was also used to describe God as a helper in our lives. And he used that word alongside another word, conegdo, to make sure we differentiated and distinguished who we were talking about here, because Eve is not a god. But yes, and so she was supposed to be his equal, his companion, to be there with him, to equally co-labor and rule in the garden. And before she was created, when Adam was given the charge of managing that garden and naming those animals and those plants, he was also given the instruction that he could have full carte blanche to eat of any of the fruit in the garden, any of the seed bearing fruit in the garden, except for the tree in the center of the garden, which is known as the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. Yes, correct. The knowledge of good and evil, not the tree of good and evil. The tree wasn't good or evil, it was giving you wisdom and knowledge of good and evil. And he was not to eat of that tree, and so he also had the responsibility of informing Eve to this. And on, I don't know what day in question, but she had a conversation with a serpent in the garden. Yet I agree, she should not have been talking to him. She should have been conversing with her husband. But she had a conversation with the serpent, at which time the serpent challenged God's authority and asked Eve, did God really say that she could not partake of the tree, the fruit of the tree? And Eve said, not only are we not supposed to eat it, but we're not even supposed to touch it, or we will surely die. And so, with that, she listened to the serpent. She partook in the fruit, and she even shared it with Adam, who was indeed, he was present. Yes, he wasn't working. He was present. He did not stop her. He did not. He did not. He actually ate some too. You know how women are. Babe, taste this. It's delicious. Taste some. Come on, taste some. And he tasted it. And at that point, he received that wisdom that he wanted, that knowledge, and God caught them. They were caught. Yes. Yes. Question? I heard
Yes,
some.
as a matter of fact, I do have another question.
Sir.
Just so we can make sure we put this debate to bed, was it a red or was it a green apple that they ate?
I'm sorry. Say what? Come again?
Yes, so it's going around that they ate an apple, and we're trying to figure, was it a red apple or was it a green apple?
Sir, I think you are a bit confused. To set the record straight, there is no indication that this was an apple. This was a specific fruit that was forbidden. Forbidden. As we can see outside of the garden, we have apple trees. Red Delicious, Golden Apple, Granny Smith. So this was forbidden on that one tree that God locked up in the garden after he evicted Adam and Eve. So, sir, this was not an apple. This was a forbidden fruit.
May I quote you on that?
Yes, you may quote me on that. Yes, you may. Yes, you may. And once Adam and Eve partook in the fruit, they realized that they were naked. Now, while you may go to jail for that today, that was God's original intention for us to not have to wear all of these frocks and worry of the seasons and cold and hot sundress, pants, or coat, but to be able to frolic about freely. But when they gained the knowledge of good and evil, they also realized they were naked, and shame came into the situation. That was a death to innocence. Shame came into the situation. And so God had to fashion clothing for them out of skin. Something now had to die to cover their sin. And so he made clothing for them, and in addition to a couple of other punishments that they received before being officially evicted. I thought I heard someone over here with a question. Who was that? Okay, yes. So, what punishments did they receive? Eve, for her role in this situation, she received the punishment of now having to endure labor pains when giving birth to children. She also endured that her seed shall be constantly an enemy to the serpent's seed, and that the serpent will strike her heel, and that her seed, her children, her grandchildren, will crush his head. Um, Adam, for his role in the incident, he received the punishment of now, instead of having all of that land and all of those trees and fruits and veggies and all those cooperative animals that weren't trying to kill each other, instead of having that freely of the Lord, he will now have to work for his food and his possessions. He will have to labor with his hands. He will get tired and he will die. Yes, death was introduced in their disobedience, thus honoring what God originally told them. See, in their ignorance, they did not realize he did not mean drop dead literally at that moment, but he meant that death would be introduced, period. So now our mortal bodies have to die. Thanks to them, we have to wear clothes and we die. Okay. And also, the serpent received the punishment that he lost his legs. He now has to crawl on his belly from now until eternity and eat dust in his face and have his head crushed by the offspring of Eve. So, I think that's enough for today. If you have any additional questions or if you want more details on what we have discussed, I will put a link to the article, the full article, detailing from beginning to end what happened with this couple. They are not allowed back into the Garden of Eden. There actually have been angels placed outside the gate with swirling swords of fire in case they try to come back. So, thank you all for coming to the press conference. I'm going to put the article below so you can read it for yourself. I have somewhere to be, thanks to Eve.